This is breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.
Good evening, I'm Jen Ah, coming to you live from the Review-Journal studio. We're getting ready to take you live to a joint press conference including Metro Police, Nevada Highway Patrol, and the Nevada Department of Public Safety. They're set to provide us an update on the events that led up to the death of Trooper Micah May last week. Trooper May died last Thursday, July 29th, 2 days after being struck during a car chase on I-15 near Sahara Avenue. You may remember traffic being backed up on the roads that day. Trooper May had been attempting to deploy stop sticks when the carjacking suspect's car hit him. And that suspect later died in an officer-involved shooting at the scene. Over the weekend, tributes for Trooper May flooded in, with community members showing support through messages written on May's patrol vehicle, which will soon be parked at Police Memorial Park. The trooper's body was escorted by first responders from the coroner's office to the mortuary on Sunday. A candlelight vigil has been scheduled for this Tuesday at Police Memorial Park. It looks like this press conference is just about to start. Let's take a listen.
On behalf of Trooper Micah May's family and the DPS family, we would like to thank the kind people of our Las Vegas community, our University Medical Center, UMC, so many local businesses and organizations, our law enforcement partners who have been terrific, our firefighters, first responders, our tow truck drivers, and many more wonderful people for their overwhelming support and the amount of caring that they have displayed to the department, but more importantly, to the May family. Thank you very much. And I'll turn it over to the Undersheriff.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. My name is Undersheriff Christopher Darcy, and I'm here to brief you today on some additional details about an officer-involved shooting, an OAS that occurred on Tuesday, July 27th, 2021, involving members of the Nevada Department of Public Safety, including the Nevada Highway Patrol and the Nevada Division of Parole and Probation. This initial event occurred on July 27th, 2021 at approximately 11:19 hours and was classified as a carjacking robbery with a deadly weapon. The location of the OAS was Interstate I-15 and Spring Mountain Road, just south of Sahara, Las Vegas, Nevada 89102. You can see the scene off to my left. And if you notice the photograph that you see on the screen, you'll see that it really spanned all the way across our community. First, I'm going to identify the involved officers. The first is Trooper Joseph Della Bella. He is 51 years old and has been with the Department of Public Safety since 2004. In this incident, Trooper Della Bella was armed with a Glock 17 9mm handgun equipped with a tactical light. The investigation revealed he fired 5 rounds during this incident. The second officer is Probation and Parole Officer Derek Simmons. He's 30 years old and has been with the Department of Public Safety since 2017. In this incident, Officer Simmons was armed with a Smith & Wesson MP 2.0 9mm handgun equipped with a tactical light. The investigation revealed he fired 14 rounds during the incident. The third involved officer is Probation and Parole Officer Garrett Dix. He is 28 years old and has been with the Department of Public Safety since 2019. In this incident, Officer Dix was armed with a Smith & Wesson MP 40 caliber handgun equipped with a tactical light. The investigation has revealed he fired 3 rounds during this incident. The fourth officer is Probation and Parole Officer Luis Villanueva. He is 28 years old and has been with the Department of Public Safety since 2017. In this incident, Officer Villanueva was armed with a Smith & Wesson MP 40 caliber handgun equipped with a tactical light. and this investigation has revealed he fired 4 rounds during the incident. The suspect, who will be pictured to my left, is identified as Douglas Claiborne. He is a 60-year-old white male adult, 6 foot tall, and weighed approximately 177 pounds. The weapons used during this incident were a large kitchen knife and a 2020 Hyundai vehicle used as a deadly weapon in this incident. And as you can see from the photo of the kitchen knife, it was about 1 foot long. Had he not survived, the applicable charges would be murder of a protected person, robbery with a deadly weapon, grand larceny auto, and felony evading. Now I'm going to go into the details of the officer-involved shooting. On Tuesday, July 27th, 2021, at approximately 11:19 hours a.m., LVMPD officers responded to a reported carjacking at Sunset Boulevard and Las Vegas Boulevard. The victim stated to officers that he and a coworker were working at a construction site when the coworker saw Douglas Claiborne sitting in the victim's vehicle. The victim approached his vehicle and screamed at Claiborne to get out of the car. The victim attempted to open the doors, but they were locked, and then Claiborne produced a large kitchen knife and threatened the victim. The vehicle's keys were left inside of the car, and Claiborne was able to start the vehicle. He then drove away, running over the victim's foot. Claiborne and the vehicle's description were then broadcast throughout the valley. At approximately 11:50 a.m., Nevada Highway Patrol troopers located the stolen Hyundai traveling northbound on Interstate 15 in the area of the Speedway exit. A traffic stop was attempted by NHP, but Claiborne did not stop. A pursuit was initiated, and the LVMPD air unit assisted NHP by monitoring the pursuit from the air. He continued northbound on I-15 and eventually made a U-turn and then headed southbound. Throughout the pursuit, Claiborne exited and re-entered the freeway several times. Each time he was driving erratically and dangerously through the community. Once back on the freeway, Claiborne drove south on I-15, reaching speeds between 35 and well over 50 miles per hour, and continued driving erratic. Stop stick tire deflation devices were deployed numerous times, yet Claiborne was able to maneuver around them. At approximately 12:18 p.m., Trooper Micah May deployed stop sticks on I-15 near the Neon Gateway, which is by the Charleston Boulevard exit. As Claiborne approached the stop sticks, he avoided the stop sticks and intentionally drove directly towards Trooper May and struck him with the stolen vehicle. Trooper May then became lodged in the windshield of the vehicle as Claiborne continued to drive south on the freeway. Several Nevada Highway Patrol troopers, to include Trooper Delabella, accelerated up to Claiborne's vehicle, the stolen vehicle, and rammed it several times. The vehicle was forcibly stopped at I-15 and Spring Mountain Road, just south of Sahara. Trooper Delabella, along with P&P officers Simmons, Dix, Villanueva, exited their vehicles, and officers then observed Claiborne grabbing Trooper May's gun. This prompted the officers to fire their weapons at Claiborne. Claiborne was struck several times, and he was subsequently pronounced deceased on scene by medical personnel. Troopers on the scene were able to remove Trooper May from the vehicle and immediately began life-saving measures. The LVMPD air unit landed on I-15 and transported Trooper May rapidly to UMC trauma. Unfortunately, on July 29th, 2021, Trooper May succumbed to his injuries. He is survived by his wife and his 2 children. I will now show you video from our air unit and some body-worn camera of the OIS incident. This is video of him off the freeway driving through the neighborhoods.
Approaching Cary, wrong way of travel here, crossing over the to the right side of travel, still northbound 5th through Cary. Heavy traffic now at Cheyenne. He's going off to the right, cut on the shoulder. Going to be turning westbound Cheyenne through traffic.
Copy.
Made a quick U-turn back eastbound Cheyenne, in front of the park over here, back towards the I-15. And making another U-turn back westbound Cheyenne. Looks like he's trying to get around our vehicles now. Continuing westbound Cheyenne, wrong way of travel, 70 miles an hour. Traffic's getting a little bit heavier here. Slow me up some. Trying to choose the lanes of travel. They're going to get stuck here, units, unless they smash through cars. Looks like they did. Might have sideswiped some vehicles there at Craig Road. Entire vehicle.
Okay, this is the video of the termination of the pursuit.
Looks like they're going to be trying to bench canines up. Short medical, please, 15 South Sahara.
Gotcha. Copy.
And that's when the shots were fired. This is body cam video. That was some body cam video from one of the troopers that did not fire the weapon at the time, but we felt that that body cam video really showed the best image of the incident. And then this last video you're going to see will be our air unit landing on I-15 to transport Trooper May. We believe this is the first time we've used our air support helicopter to actually land and rescue a downed officer and bring them to UMC. So this concludes my initial briefing. I'm here to answer any questions you may have about the incident. So I'll take a few questions. Anybody? Okay, thank you very much.
Real quick.
Oh, okay.
From the
Is that Steve?
start to yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, from the start to finish, when the stolen vehicle was reported, the pursuit began.
Correct.
To the time Trooper May was airlifted, what kind of a total time?
I can throw out a couple of numbers. The pursuit lasted about 42 minutes. And I think it was approximately 20 minutes from the time of the initial report till the time it was located. But the pursuit was about 10 minutes. And then I think it took us about, from the time the helicopter got there and was able to land, I think it was just a couple of minutes, probably 3 to 4 minutes to actually make the landing and get him transported. Sir?
Marco Mano with Channel 8. You mentioned that Stop 6 were tried a few times and they didn't.
Yes.
Was he just able to drive around them? Were there other measures that he could have been taking?
Yes, they were used several times during, as you can see from the map, right? He went all the way up I-15, then was driving on and off the freeway and recklessly all around. And, you know, sometimes it's hard to predict, but we try to identify those areas where it would be safe to use them and deflate the tires to kind of slow the pursuit down and bring it to a safe conclusion. And that's what the officers were doing and the troopers were doing when they were out there.
With speeds,
okay.
It kind of relates to his questions. With speeds of between 35 and 55 miles an hour, according to radio traffic, why more aggressive tactics taken until Trooper May was hit?
Well, I think, and I can't speak to the Highway Patrol policy because it was actually their pursuit, but I know in law enforcement, right, we want to do the least dangerous thing. We want to protect the people on the roadway, and that is paramount, right? The safety of the public, even the safety of the suspect driving the car. So at that point, it initially was a pursuit within those speed limits. So a lot of times we will follow them and eventually they'll give up or they'll run out of gas or they'll see that we have enough resources on scene and then they stop. But in this case, it didn't happen. So they continued to use the stop sticks to try to persuade him to stop. And at this point, he did not stop. So.
About how long was it, or I guess what was the distance between where Trooper May was hit and where the car was ultimately stopped?
Well, I can't tell you the exact distance in feet, but I want to say it was about a mile, maybe a mile and a half down between the exits.
Was Trooper May
Yep, sir.
the only ATV officer trying to employ those stop sticks?
At that point, he was the only one there, but earlier they had deployed him in other spots. Yeah, there was a total of, well, 6, and then the 7th deployment was the one that where Trooper May was struck.
The rest were on the freeway, not on surface streets rather than.
They were in a variety of places. Yeah, I don't have the specific places, but I will tell you, this is essentially a 72-hour briefing. We want to be transparent about the details of the officer-involved shooting and the death of a dedicated public servant. But this investigation isn't over. This is just the beginning of it. So in the coming weeks and months, we'll continue to investigate, follow up, and provide information as asked. Yes?
Can you speak about the dangers of shooting into the vehicle while Trooper May was still in there?
I can. We have to make decisions in high-stress environments. And I believe the officers, I mean, I can't speak for them, but I can tell you right now, the information that we have in the preliminary investigation is it appeared that Trooper May was inside the vehicle and out of harm's way. He was not struck with any rounds when the shots were fired. So the officers that are involved in it have to make that determination. You know, we always identify backdrop and the scene where we're going to use deadly force. So those are split-second decisions that officers have to make in a very challenging environment. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all being here today.
Okay, so we just heard from law enforcement providing us an update on more details of the car chase along I-15, which led to Trooper Micah May's death. Now, the undersheriff presented a map of how far the chase went until it came to a stop on I-15 just south of Sahara. He also identified the troopers involved in this officer-involved shooting. And what the carjacking suspect was armed with, it was described as a kitchen knife. As for the details of the officer-involved shooting, authorities revealed the video of the police chase. They say Douglas Claiborne led police in a chase, driving erratically until Trooper Micah May deployed stop sticks on I-15. However, after striking May, Claiborne reportedly continued driving. And then the vehicle, when it was eventually stopped, police say they believe Claiborne attempted to grab a weapon, and that's when shots were fired by the officers. We'll have much more on this story on our evening newscast, 7 at 7 p.m. and tomorrow morning on 7 at 7 a.m. as well. You can download our RJ mobile app to get news alerts sent right to your phone. You can find us on Roku, Apple TV, all of your streaming platforms. I'm Jen Ah. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We'll see you later tonight at 7.
You've been watching breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.